Woj, you've got a story out in regards to what's going on in Detroit. What is the situation between Blake Griffin and the Pistons at the moment?
Yeah, Blake Griffin, their GM, Troy Weaver, told me today, is not going to be in the lineup here moving forward. They're going to look for a trade, and certainly buyout discussions could be part of a focus here at some point. Griffin's owed over $50 million on this year and next year's contract. It's really going to be difficult to trade him and to find a deal where money could match up for where Blake is in his career right now. But it's been amicable. They've loved really the way Blake has handled what's been a tough spot for a player of his stature, being in the middle of a rebuild in Detroit. And I think for both sides to allow him to step away, let his agent and the team work through something. And I think there's going to be a marketplace for Blake Griffin. Perhaps it's in the buyout market if his agent, Sam Goldfeder with Excel and Troy Weaver and Detroit get to that. But for now, they'll keep looking at the trade market. And if you're bringing in a Blake Griffin, a contending team, you want him for the playoffs. There's no rush to get him on your roster, perhaps right now. But listen, he's a player who, while he doesn't play above the rim anymore, he's not the all-NBA Blake Griffin that people remember. He still has shown this season, to be a pretty efficient offensive player. He's shooting. You see him obviously stepping out, shooting the three. Played a back-to-back last week and played well. Helped Detroit win in Boston. So there will be a market for Blake Griffin. Hard to imagine, though, it may be via trade.
So let's bring in Matt Barnes again here, NBA champion. Matt, how desirable is Blake Griffin on the market from what you've seen out of him thus far?
I think a healthy Blake Griffin is very desirable. Now, is he 100% healthy? I'm not sure. I think gone are the Lob City days of Blake Griffin, but, like Woj pointed out, he still has worked on his game and is an efficient offensive player, so he can definitely help a playoff contending team down the stretch. I agree. I think most likely it's going to be in the buyout space considering how much money he's still owed, but Blake can still definitely contribute to a team that's going to try to make a run for a championship.
And finally, Woj, there's a similar situation in Cleveland with Andre Drummond. What do we know about that?
It is similar, and he, like Blake Griffin, he will, he's going to separate from the Cavaliers here. He's not going to be active anymore for them. They're going to work on trades. He's got only 1 year left on his deal. He's an expiring contract, around $28 million. Perhaps there might be some avenues where a trade is possible, but still very difficult. He may be another player who ends up in the buyout market. They haven't had those conversations yet. I think his goal is for Cleveland to find a trade, but they're transitioning to Jared Allen as their center of the future, 22 years old, and putting him with that young group of guards and wings they have in Cleveland. And the idea, I think, to share time with a young player, given where Drummond is in his career, a player who's been a two-time All-Star, very similarly, makes sense for him to step away and allow the team and his agent to see what they can find out in the marketplace.
Matt, which team, you get to play fantasy GM, which team is a good fit for Andre Drummond?
I think to be able to go where Jared Allen came from, if he can, tighten up that front line over in Brooklyn and split time with DeAndre Jordan, I think that would be a good fit. Drummond still has, a lot left in the tank. I just think him understanding what his game is. I think he needs to understand that he's a rebounder, a shot blocker, a lob catcher, and a paint protector, and kind of stick with that and go with that. Big body, still has some, a lot of juice left, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands. But I also agree. I think it'll be a buyout situation. Although he is in his last year of his contract, to me it looks like a buyout situation. But he can definitely, again, similar to Blake Griffin, similar to Kevin Love, can help a team that's contending for a title if healthy.
Woj, obviously you're not reporting anything here, but we're asking you to kind of speculate in regards to who would be in that market for Andre Drummond. Would the Nets make some sense, and are there others in your opinion?
Yeah, I do think there would be interest from Brooklyn in, again, maybe it's the buyout market. It's hard to see how the contracts line up. I know this right now. Cleveland, I'm told, has not really been engaged in any serious conversations on a trade. They're going to, really continue to try to navigate the marketplace, see what might work. Sometimes there's 3-team scenarios, and a bigger salary can be part of a broader deal, but it's hard in a one right now for Andre Drummond to see where that is. But then in the end, he'd have to decide he wants to do a buyout, and he's not shown any inclination that that's something he's interested in right now. So we'll monitor it. We'll see how that plays out. But certainly, there's a great need in Brooklyn. He fits the profile perfectly, but can they find a way to acquire him?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.